I never thought owning a piece of paradise could turn into a nightmare so quickly. Picture this. I just settled into my dream property, a cozy house on a sprawling lot that backed right up to this beautiful, serene lake. It was my escape, you know? The kind of place where I'd sip coffee on the deck at dawn, watching the mist rise off the water, feeling like I'd finally made it. No mortgages hanging over my head. I owned it outright, deed in hand, every square foot legally mine. Or so I thought. Then came the letter from the Homeowners Association. It landed in my mailbox like a bomb, all official-looking with their fancy letterhead. They weren't asking. They were demanding access to the lake through my land. Yeah, you heard that right. They claimed some historical precedent, saying that for years, way before I bought the place, folks in the neighborhood had traipsed across similar properties to reach the water for fishing, picnics, whatever. It was like they were rewriting history on the fly, insisting that old habits created some unbreakable tradition. And get this, they threw in this community right angle, arguing that the lake wasn't just for one person, but belonged to everyone in the development. As if my backyard was suddenly public property because a few neighbors had snuck through fences back in the day. They even hinted at old maps or unspoken agreements from the original builders, but it all sounded so vague, like they were grasping at straws to justify bulldozing my privacy. At first, I just stared at the paper, my coffee going cold in my hand. Are they serious? I muttered to myself, half laughing, half fuming. I own this land outright. It felt absurd, like a bad joke from a sitcom. How could a group of busybody neighbors think they had any say over what I did with my own dirt? I'd poured my savings into this place, fought through inspections and closings, all to have some HOA board act like feudal lords claiming eminent domain. Disbelief hit me like a wave. I replayed every conversation I'd had with the realtor, scouring my memory for any red flags about easements or shared access. Nada. Zilch. It was mine, clear as day. But as the shock wore off, a darker feeling crept in. Why me? Why now? It felt personal, like I was being targeted. Maybe because I was the new guy, the outsider who hadn't grown up in this tight-knit suburb. Or perhaps they saw my land as the easiest path, flat, direct, no obstacles like the rocky slopes on other lots. Paranoia set in. I started wondering if whispers at community barbecues had led to this, if someone on the board had a grudge or just wanted to flex their power. My stomach twisted at the thought of strangers tromping through my yard, leaving trash, scaring off the wildlife I'd come to love. What if kids started swimming unsupervised? What if accidents happened on my property? Liability nightmares flashed through my mind, turning my haven into a potential lawsuit magnet. I paced the house that night, heart pounding, sleep nowhere in sight. This wasn't just about land. It was an invasion, a violation of everything I'd worked for. The next morning, I knew I couldn't just stew. I had to dig in, uncover the truth behind their bluster. Was there really a legal leg for them to stand on? Or was this all smoke and mirrors? I fired off emails demanding specific show me the documents, the precedents, the bylaws that supposedly gave them this right. Deep down, I suspected it was flimsy, maybe based on outdated customs that wouldn't hold up in court. But the uncertainty gnawed at me. What if there was some buried clause in the deed I'd missed? The tension built as I imagined the showdown, a heated HOA meeting where voices rose, fingers pointed, and the whole neighborhood picked sides. Would it escalate to lawyers, injunctions, maybe even a fence war? The stakes felt sky high, my peaceful life hanging by a thread. In the end, it boiled down to one burning question: who really owns what in a community like this? And that's where it gets controversial. Should historical habits trump private property rights? Or is that just an excuse for entitlement? What do you think? Would you fight tooth and nail to keep your land private, or cave for the sake of community harmony? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Did I overreact, or is the HOA way out of line? Hit that like button if you've dealt with similar drama, and subscribe for more real-life stories that might just hit too close to home. Let's debate this.